Coming up, we'll be showing you some of the posh hotels in Benidorm in this episode, plus we'll go over the travel changes in preparation for your next holiday, and later we'll head up the coast to the beautiful town of Altaya. Michelle Baker here, greetings from sunny Benidorm. I've lived here most of my life and I've created this channel called Benidormforever to keep Benidorm fans everywhere in touch with our resort. If this is the first video you've seen, please check out the previous ones so you can follow our journey from the beginning. Thank you. This past week has definitely shown a slight increase in tourists in Benidorm, and we're starting to see pockets of holidaymakers in the bars around the hotels that are open now, like this one just opposite the newly opened Hotel Regenti, or Tiki City, which is opposite the newly opened Hotel Marina. And talking of hotels, I was invited on a whistle-stop tour of a few of the hotels last Friday with the Mayor of Benidorm and representatives from the tourist sector. It started off with a press conference in the Hotel Port Benidorm, where we were reminded of the protective measures in place in all the hotels to keep tourists safe this summer, plus some hopeful predictions of how the resort is looking to rely on last-minute deals, mini breaks and weekend tourists to save the day. Then we all went on a bus tour around Benidorm to visit some of the amazing hotels in our resort, starting off with the Hotel Symbol, a 4-star hotel right on the Levante beach that's just undergone an extensive refurb and looks amazing. Morning all, here we are on the sunny Levante beach, 30 degrees in the shade. It's a beautiful day. Then we went across town to the stunning Villa Del Mar Hotel, again a 4-star right on the front of the Pontiente beach with the most amazing views from the chill out rooftop bar, where we tucked into some delicious tapas, for research purposes of course. Something you'll notice when you come back is that more and more food options are served in individual portions, and all of the staff are wearing the appropriate safety equipment. Next on the tour was the brand new Port Pontiente, which only opened its doors last Friday, a stunning hotel with a nautical theme and the most amazing infinity rooftop pool with views across the harbour. And last but by no means least on our tour was the landmark Bellroy Hotel, right in the centre of the Levante side of town. This is where the King and Queen enjoyed their cocktail with the Mayor last week, but that day I was on the outside looking in. The purpose of the tour was to remind us all of the fabulous facilities Benidorm has on offer, and indeed many of you, especially if you've never been to Benidorm before, may not have realised how stunning some of our hotels really are. And that's the beauty of Benidorm. We have accommodation to suit everyone's budget, from studio apartments to 5-star luxury hotels and everything in between.
Please come back. Benidorm te espera.
A few more of the hotels you know and love have reopened this week, like the all-inclusive adults-only Flamingo Beach Resort. And the 4-star Hotel Presidente. I'll tell you more about this hotel next week because we've been invited to lunch in a couple of days to check out the new rules in the hotel dining room. It was fantastic to see a trickle of tourists checking in the hotels, and you'll notice everywhere we go all the hygiene measures are in place to keep you as safe as we possibly can. And of course, with more tourists in town, obviously the nights are getting busier too. The bars on the Marina corner, as we know it here, were a bit busier, and the Hotel Marina has live entertainment back on, which is lovely to see. In fact, new bars are opening every day. But it was the difference in the night scene on the beach that was the most noticeable this week, with firm favourites like Heartbreak, Daytona and the Guinness Bar all open and busy. This is more like it. Heartbreak open again. It's so much more busy than it was this time last week. Viva Benidorm! Benidormforever! You'll notice Benidorm always looks busier at night than it does in the day in summer. It's the same in any hot country. The searing heat of the day sends the locals indoors, but at night the town comes alive as family make the most of the cooler temperatures to take a stroll or chatter with friends. And in the Spanish villages, it's still tradition to sit in the street until the early hours of the morning, tomando el fresco, or enjoying the cool, whilst putting the world to rights. But this year you'll notice the police are never far away, making sure everyone is behaving. We need tourists in Benidorm, but there have been numerous small outbreaks of the virus in other parts of Spain, mostly stemming from social gatherings. So when you get here, it's very important that you follow the rules, which are simple. Keep 1.5 metres apart or wear a mask and keep your hands well sanitised. So, assuming we've inspired you to hop on the first plane over, let's talk about the travel changes in place to make sure you get here safely. First and foremost, you will have to fill in a health declaration form called an SPTH form to hand in at the airport when you get here. Your airline will send you the link, or you can download the app and you can print it out once completed or save it to your phone. Most of the form can be filled in way ahead and the rest completed from 48 hours before you fly. Basically, the authorities need to be able to trace you should you or anyone travelling close to you become infected. All adults are required to wear a mask on the plane, and some children too, depending on their age and the rules of your airline. You will be required to wear your mask in the Spanish airport and also on the transfer bus or taxi, and you'll also be asked to sanitise your hands frequently en route. I spoke to this group of lads who'd just flown in that morning from Manchester, and they confirmed the journey was easy, the rules were straightforward, and as you can see, they were already soaking up the sun and the beer at the Flamingo Beach Hotel. And they weren't the only arrivals. Tour operator Giants Jet2 are ramping it up. They're flying in 35 planes into Alicante over the next week, which, agreed, is a lot lower than a normal week in July, but it's great news for the local economy. And to see their red uniforms about the resort once again is a very welcome sight. Now, as promised, for those of you who enjoy our history bits and a bit of sightseeing, we're going to head up the coast to the seaside town of Altaya. Located just 10 kilometres north of Benidorm, Altaya is easily spotted in the distance by its blue dome church that sits on top of the town. You'll often find places of worship and cemeteries high up in Spain because as a Catholic nation it means you're closer to heaven. Like many fishing villages across this coast, Altaya goes back many centuries. It's been settled by Iberians, Greeks, Romans and Muslims, and then eventually the Christians when it was captured in 1244 by James I of Aragon. All of these civilisations were especially drawn to Altaya because it's where the mouth of the river Algar, which further inland feeds the popular Algar waterfalls, meets the sea, and this provided plenty of fresh water for sailors and fishermen. But life in Altaya was far from the idyllic town that you see today. Its privileged position so close to the sea meant that for centuries, whenever there was bad weather, the waves crashed into the frontline buildings and the inhabitants literally had to leave the doors open and let the waves crash through their homes. This was eventually solved quite recently in the 1970s by the building of a dike. But although this protected the buildings, it took away the town's beach, and even worse, over the years, a lake formed, known locally as El Charco, the puddle. It formed on the inside of the dike, and this generated bad smells and was generally considered unhealthy. And so, in 2016, the external dike was removed, the lake was dredged and the whole area replaced with an artificial beach. This now acts as a breakwater, so the buildings are still protected, but it's far more useful for the locals, and this new attraction has also done wonders for tourism. A seasonal town, in summer the narrow streets that lead to the church are a magnet for tourists who come to soak up the Mediterranean atmosphere. The old houses have long since been converted into the most fabulous restaurants serving delicious international cuisine, and the shops sell clothes and crafts more typical to Ibiza than Alicante. Local artists display their wares in the church square, and it's one of my favourite places to eat out and just enjoy the summer atmosphere. All in all, it's as different from Benidorm as chalk and cheese, so if you'd like to visit Altaya when you're next here, simply hop on the number 10 bus from Benidorm or jump in a taxi. It's only 15 minutes ride and you'll absolutely love it. Next week we'll show you more of Benidorm as it continues to get busier, and then we'll head over to the town of Alfaz del Pi where they're celebrating their 32nd annual film festival. We hope you enjoyed today's video. Please leave your comments below, and to help us grow, please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.